Beneath the stage lights of San Francisco, a rock god was born. But behind the makeup and screaming fans lies a dark history spanning millennia. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we're diving into episode 5 of our dive into the life, the lore, and the lives of the Brat Prince himself, the Vampire Lestat. Last week we witnessed Lestat break the ancient laws of his kind, stepping into the human spotlight and demanding to be seen. But his music didn't just wake up the mortal world, it resonated deep within the earth, piercing the icy, centuries long slumber of the most dangerous force in the mortal world, an immortal world, has ever seen. In this episode, we're talking about the ultimate consequence of Lestat's vanity, the mother of all vampires, the queen of the damned. Today, we confront Queen Akasha. As her deadly gaze turns toward the new favorite, prodigal son, the entire world hangs in the balance. Is Lestat a revolutionary leader or just another pawn in the queen's devastating new order? Grab your velvet cloaks, turn the lights down, and let's go into the shadows. All right. Here we are. We are here. We have made it to 5 episodes of The Vampire Lestat, and we have arrived in New York. Before we get into our questions, any thoughts on the title, New York? Hey.
Other than the fact that it's taking place in New York?
Yeah. No.
So we're continuing this rock tour. All right, so let's dive into it. I think we've all been kind of thinking about Marius and the train wreck that is Armand, and we'll circle around to that weasel / gremlin later. So our first question is, so Marius rescues Lestat from an 80-year-old dirt nap and forces him to look after those who must be kept. What did you think of the visual presentation of a calcified Akasha and Kill? Corey, go ahead, Corey. Corey was dancing in his shoes.
So, listen, I loved it. In my mind, of course, I've seen the original movie with Aaliyah. So I had that representation in my head, right? So I was thinking of something similar to that. And so when I saw her physically, I was like, yes. Like the dark ebony, the way in which she still seems so regal, although calcified. Just everything about the presentation. Even, her tics and her movements and everything that led up to her, becoming awake. And how eventually she was calcified, but then that turned into flesh, like right in front of our eyes. Like I just loved every bit of it.
Mayfair could never.
They could never.
They could never.
Never.
You can use all the big trollers you want. You could never. Oh my God.
Never.
Jermaine, what are your thoughts about the visual representation of these calcified bodies?
Well, I loved it. It made perfect sense to me. I mean, we really, for the most part, we got to see Akasha in the movie. She was a stone, and then we saw her fully made, right? They didn't have time for all of that in the movie. In the TV show, however, we get to see what she actually looked like. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of major. It was like I don't know, the ghoulishness of it all. It made her look scary. From a human point of view. From a vampire's point of view, it was just, hey, she's decayed. She stopped drinking blood and all that other good stuff. So for a vampire, it wasn't that alarming, but for a human, it is definitely alarming. And so I loved what I saw.
I couldn't look away. I could not look away. I was like, oh my God. Okay, we kept it black. Okay, we kept it. Whoo! Yes, we didn't deviate. It was so beautiful. All right, we have a question. our statement. The presentation of those who must be kept was interesting because Marius seemed to be a bit more kooky than he was in the movie/book, and the place he was keeping them in reflected his mental state. Thank you for that, for Tootie and Blue, and welcome back. Thank you for joining us again.
I do have to say, like, I was kind of thrown off by that. However, if you read the book, if all you're doing is reading the book, a lot of what he said was consistent with what was in the book. But if you're kind of like upset and mad that Akasha is not talking to you, and you're alone for all this time, it kind of makes sense that he would, present in that particular way. So
Yeah,
it made sense.
it's like a little bit of jealousy, right? There's a little bit of jealousy on his part because he's been keeping them for however long, and Lestat comes and suddenly, bam,
22 years and not a
22
word from her
years.
as soon as he walks out. 23.
23.
Since you want to be.
I mean, right? Since you got something to say about it.
I love it. All right, so
I will say that I was a little disappointed in Marius's appearance. I kind of wanted. I was expecting something closer to the movie version because he's supposed to be elegant and
their haircut was horrible.
Yeah, but he's a great actor, and so I can kind of put that aside. I was expecting a little bit more beauty, but he's a great actor. So,
well, I was actually glad that it's that echo and it's like, number one, they found a vampire from Twilight, and I was like, what am I looking at? What's going on? Once I got beyond that, yeah, I do agree with you, Corey. That particular actor is a really good actor, and I felt comfortable with him playing that particular part, because if you read the book Armand, he challenged Armand to look at his skin and to see the wrinkles of his skin. Armand was like, whatever, you're still beautiful to me. But in that moment, it was like, okay, so he was turned at an older age, if you will.
All right. Tootie in the Boot says it was a bit dusty in there, but Akasha was still serving looks. Period. All right. So speaking of jealousy in our new keeper, so it's revealed that Akasha specifically handpicked Lestat to be the new keeper. Why do you think she chose the Black Prince out of all the other immortals to be the new keeper?
I think she thinks that he could kind of herald in what she wants, right? I think that she thinks that he is her equal, or that he's bold, and that he's wants to live his life out in the open. But it's true, but it's also not true. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think the whole Vampire Lestat is a attempt by him to kind of deal with his demons, so to speak. And I think it's a piece of who he is on his journey to eventually become the quote unquote prince, right? I think that she likes a part of him that, yes, is a part of him, but ultimately is not totally who he is. I think she just likes that presentation.
So Lestat is a killer. She likes the fact that he likes to kill. And that's exactly what she wants. She also likes the fact that he has a conscience. Mm-hmm. And so those two things appeal to her. And so that is why she chose Lestat.
Okay. And so the next question kind of goes hand in hand with that, with the previous question. So what makes him the ideal companion for the Queen of the Damned?
Because he can be as vicious as she can be.
He matches her savage. All right. So moving forward, Marius drops a massive lore bomb. So when Akil was once exposed to the sun, it affected the other vampires worldwide. Lots of them were burned. So he confirmed that if Akasha dies, the entire species will perish. How does this absolute rule alter your perspective of the show's power dynamics? So if one burns, we all burn. Well, that one in particular, being Akasha.
So I wasn't surprised by it because if I going back to, and I hate to keep talking about the movie, but it's a visual representation of where we are in the story, kind of, and it's one of the only things you can compare it to that everyone has seen. Although most people have, a lot of people have not read the books, but a lot of people saw the movie, right? And they addressed it by in the very end when they were attempting to kill her by drinking her dry, so to speak. There was a point where she basically says, if you kill me, you kill yourselves, right? And it tracks. Although I forget which version is actually closer to the actual story for Anne Rice. I don't think it affects the power dynamics because we kind of already know that Anne Rice's lore as it relates to vampires is a little bit different. But it does make Akasha seem a little bit more untouchable, at least at this point in time, because how is everyone else going to deal with her when she gets to the point where she is boss bitch? What are they going to do? And that's really what I couldn't help but think and see when I saw her character, how formidable she is. What first thing I thought in my head was, ooh, what are they going to do?
Jermaine, your thoughts?
Okay. So how does it alter the perspective of the show's power dynamics? I'll answer it by saying this. It doesn't really change too much. It does change who has the most power. But our lead characters are our lead characters for a reason. And so in my mind, the only thing that I'm thinking, like if I haven't read the books and I'm just watching the show, the only thing that I'm thinking is basically how are they going to overcome Akasha? How are they going to overcome the fact that if they kill her, they will die? How will like all it really does is just put a whole lot of questions in the hat, and you just got to pluck through each one individually and try to figure that out. And that's what makes at least this season so enormous for me.
Do you think that they'll do kind of what they did in the book, basically using Lestat to become the king of all, so that they can ultimately kill her?
I think they are going to keep not 100% consistent with the book, but consistent enough so that Lestat is still a main player. Yeah.
All right. And so I know Corey is gonna love this. Akasha delivers the most amazing awakening speech, monologue. Oh my God. Wish I had the time to read it line for line, word for word, bar for bar. It was so amazing. Can't wait to perform it in silence. So, the flashback ends with the turn of the century.
Why can't we read it?
Huh? So we got other questions. So the flashback ends with the turn of the century in the 1900s with Akasha breaking her slumber, drinking from Lestat, and delivering an intense monologue. So how did you interpret her flow of thoughts? What does her rage against the oppression of women signal for the future of the series? Yeah, he's like, why can't we read the whole monologue? It's gonna take 12 minutes.
I am the answer.
I am the answer. Boom. You can sum it up with that. The flow of thoughts is crazy.
So for me, the flow of thoughts really is kind of almost like a newborn, just kind of waking up fully after kind of digesting information, kind of happenstance in a just kind of almost like it's on the back burner, so to speak, right? Just processing. And then when she fully is kind of really in her moment and really in consciousness, she's all the stuff that's coming at her all at the same time. And she's just like, wait, what? why is this and why is this and why are these things happening and what's going on? And ultimately she comes to that conclusion that, you know what, bump all this. I can fix all of this. You know, I can fix all of this.
I mean,
It is interesting though that she singled out the oppression of women versus the oppression of all.
say more. Say more.
So meaning that I think that equally, just as we're talking about the oppression of women, I think that there a case could have been made for the writers for her to use that monologue to where she's talking about oppression of people as a whole by by the human species, which would kind of basically kind of lead us to the point where she's eventually going to go, try to make more vampires and, subjugate everyone, I think. Unless I had that completely wrong.
Jermaine.
Okay, so what's this question? How did you against the oppression of women signal for? Okay, so yeah, so her entire speech, like if you like really dig into the speech itself, what she's basically saying is, number one, she's questioning all of these different things. Why do I have to basically take a step back? Why do I have to put my head down? Why does my voice have to be lilted? Why? Why are all these things? Basically, what she's doing is she's basically saying society is fucked up, and especially fucked up when it comes to women. But hold up, wait a minute. I can address these things. I have the power. I have the ability to address these things. Okay. And so what it signals for me is that she coming for the men. That's what it signals. All right. Just if all you're doing is just looking at that speech, and I thought it was a powerful speech. I was like, oh Lord, like to see it written, because Corey he sent it, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. But yeah, that's basically what she's saying, in my opinion.
And that tracks according to the book, and I completely missed that in the book. I was much younger when I was reading through it, and I just didn't get that aspect of it. And so, but that's, so.
I'm not going to dive deep into the question, but yes, I am at the same time. So for me, as a Black woman, yes, this pertains to all women as far as lowering the tone, having to put your head down, not being seen historically, being seen and not heard or whatever. As a Black woman, it hit different. It hit different to be delivered by a Black woman who has been asleep for centuries. And oh my God, all I can say is just, oh my God, it really just hit different. Lots of questions, because anytime we open our mouths, we're aggressive, we're this, we're that. And so I really appreciated that they went there. Love the direction that the show is going in, and I'm going to leave it at that.
And I think it wouldn't have been as powerful if it wasn't done that way.
100% agree. To the Inner Boot says she chose Lestat because of his desire for love and companionship. Marius mentioned that Lestat wanted to, quote unquote, take care of his mother, and that was his most important quality to Akasha, the mother.
So I just want to add this real quick. So that was Marius's most important quality, but part of the reason why she did not want Marius is because she felt that Marius was too vain. He thought too much of himself, and she had a problem with that. Yes, Lestat, he wanted love and companionship, and she wanted to give him love and companionship, but it was the fact that he loved to kill, because she's got to kill a lot of men, right? Yeah, she's making her followers kill the men, but Lestat needs to be able to kill the vampires because her followers are mortal, right? So Lestat has got to be able to kill the male vampires.
All right. So the episode opens with Lestat musing about The coffins he's had to call home. And so framing the recording studio is just another sarcophagus. How does music serve as a coping mechanism for his deep, lifelong fear of solitude?
So I personally think that the music in and of itself is how he feels like he's going to get the recognition, the love, the attention, the etc. Right? Initially, I think initially that's what he was craving. Along with getting his story out there. Um, Ultimately, the music became a burden as well, right, for him. And I think once he starts to address his issues, it kind of changes for him. But the music is definitely a way for him to deal with his issues with Armand and Louis because he's written songs about him, right? And consistently, and they've been the backdrop and the themes to these episodes. And some may say they've leaned too much on the music a little bit. That's a criticism of the show that they've leaned too much on the music and not enough on the backstory and the story. Um, I disagree, but I see what why they're saying it. Um, but really, that's what it is. A Vampire Lestat and his musical journey is interwoven into the story as much as you can't separate the two. Like, do you get the catharsis without the music and the influence of music? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with Corey. Can we real quick, can we go to some of these comments because we have like a lot.
Absolutely.
So Tootie in the Boot says, I actually think that Arius was lying about what happened to Ankle because in the books it was Akasha that ended up killing her king in favor of being with Lestat. Yeah, well, I'll just say, you're right. It is Akasha that, according to the books, that ended up killing Lestat. And you know what? When I heard that part, I was like, "What? Huh? Who?" But he did mention at another part where, and this was consistent with the book, that he left them out, and they got burned by the sun, or well maybe I don't know. It was one of them, or maybe both of them. I don't remember. And that's and yeah. So maybe they just kind of embellished just a little bit because they wanted to see like the frailty of those who must be kept, if you will. So I was okay with that. Tootie also says, I think in the show that part happened earlier because, like y'all said, she asked for Lestat to be retrieved specifically. Also, Tootie says in the book there was another queen after Akasha, one of the M twins girls. Is that what you're talking about? Maybe.
Is it Maharet?
One of them, Maharet, Makari. One of them.
Corey, that's for you. Still read it. We got time. The monologue.
uh, why is it? Oh yeah, my bad. I was trying to skip those. That monologue was foreshadowing for sure, and it was absolutely transcendent. Yeah. Akasha messing with y'all lives according to the first Awakened Soul Vibes. Okay. Look like you changed your name again. All right. Books, Girls, and Purr says, yes. Did you notice how Queen said, I am the night, paralleling Louis saying at the end of season 2, I own the night. Yeah. We got some hearts. We got other comments. Music is the only companion that's never left him and kept him company in his darkest hours. That's why he turns to it so often. Yes, agreeing with Corey. And Makari was the second Queen of the Damned.
Thank y'all so much. We love y'all in the comments. We appreciate it. Oh my God. All right, so let's move a little bit further. So, as far as Lestat trying to kind of sort of channel his grief, He shreds his untouchable persona when recording Big Boss. We love how he just really got at Armand the Gremlin. But anyway, so it's a raw, angry track that we know is the diss track for Armand. But how did you react to the scene where Lestat literally runs out into the sun to record his own screams while his skin peels? Was this high art or absolute madness?
Okay, I'll go. Corey didn't. Corey didn't go. I thought of it as high art. I thought it was cool to watch. Could you say that it was madness? Yes, someone could argue that it's madness. But I mean, you know what? What true talent, what true artist isn't just a little bit crazy? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I think it's high art.
It is absolute madness, but we love it.
I am the answer. I agree with both of you. It was absolute madness, but it was also art. I appreciate it because hey, I'm also an artist. So if you are not at the brink of madness and sensitive about your ish, just don't even do it. Just don't even do it. So I appreciated it. And so my thing is also, I'm taking it a step further. He is requiring a lot of his band, right? He's requiring a lot of them. They are stuck in this studio slash sarcophagus to record this freaking album, right? I'm willing, a person of the night, to go into the sunlight, peel off my freaking skin, turn into ash partially to get the shit right. To me, that was just great leadership and great artistry all at the same time. It just was, because I'm not just doing this to you. I'm going to put my body and myself on the brink of complete destruction to get it right. So I loved it. All right. Sudina Boo says Lestat was self-harming, not just for art, but because he's still holding on to feelings of guilt regarding what happened to Nikki and Claudio. Oh, 100%. He broke.
Listen, this is just one big therapy session. This whole tour is nothing but one big therapy session. That's
The
all it
whole
is.
point.
It is just a means to an end to get him to where we need him to be as a lead.
So Blizzard Girls and Purse says Akasha said men are the problem and I'm the solution. Yeah, baby.
But we like men.
We love men. We love the boys. We love the boys. We love the boys. It's okay, Kasha. It's gonna be okay. Who hurt you, baby?
What are we gonna be? What are we gonna do?
All right. So Lestat brutally tells his guitarist Larry that he represents his fragility before instructing the band to kill me savagely. Is Lestat's perfectionism an expression of genuine artistic genius, or is it just toxic, unchecked manipulation of the mortals around him?
It's both. It is absolutely both. I mean, I get it. He's trying to get that vampire sound, if you will, and he's dealing with humans, and humans can't hear what they hear. But at the same time, like some of the things that he says to these people, like it got your boy so down he wanted to quit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot and it's heavy. So much so that the other members of the band were like, look, turn me, make me a vampire. I want, because I believe in this music. Okay, I get it. You are a vampire and you're surrounding us with all these other vampires. And clearly there's a sound that you all need to hear. But you know what? There was this one part where somebody was just like, I forget what the actual words were, but it's the people in the band started singing this. And somebody asked, what does it mean?
Make more.
So it's clear, like they don't really understand what he's ultimately driving towards. But they love the music so much, so they're willing to withstand everything that he's throwing at them because they love this music. So to me, it's both.
I 100% agree. Because why else would you be here if you don't want to be tortured? You already know I revealed myself to you, whatever. So let's move on. So Jermaine's favorite person, Louis. Louis is back yet again, and so he's entered into an extraordinary toxic relationship with the waitress named Regina, who just happens to look like our Claudia. What does this tell us about Louis' inability to process his grief? And how does this mirror Lestat's own cynical trauma?
So it's not unfamiliar because if you think about it, when his brother died way back in the beginning, he went through a similar just downward spiral, right? And Louis is just he's just miserable anyway, right? And that's part of why we love him, right? Because he is so miserable. But at the same time, you know, he needs to, and much like he needed him in the beginning when his brother passed, he needed someone. He needed Claudia. He needed Lestat to pull him out of that grief and that trauma. And we see in this episode that's exactly what happens yet again. Hey, look, I am confused, or I'm crazy, or all, but you need to tell me, what's real, what's going on in this instance, Lestat. And I think ultimately that's what makes them two so great together, is that both of them kind of lean on each other and draw the worst but also the best out of each other. And all of this combined is a cycle, right? Both the need, the give and the take, the Louis' inability to deal with grief and the ways that he processes his grief, also the way that how he uses Lestat to cope and also be like a aid to him when he's trying to deal with it.
100% a trauma bond if I've ever seen one. And the next time somebody kills me, pick up the phone.
So look, listen. So we know that vampires live a lonely life, right? And so if you're dealing with grief and trauma and all that other good stuff, who are you going to talk to if you're lonely, right? Who can you tell these things to? This is why Louis writes the book. This is why Lestat is basically writing his own book through this music. They're dealing with and processing their traumas in the way in which a vampire can. And yes, they are vampires, and yes, it's going to be toxic because to Corey's point, there are only so few people that they can actually talk to. You know what I'm saying? To get these things out, and so processing grief is going to look different from a vampire. I mean, from the perspective of a vampire than it is to a human. Humans, when we're processing grief, we're talking to a friend. How many friends do vampires have when they really don't like to be around each other? Do we want to get to that?
I was increasingly annoyed with the actress that joined in with Regina to play Madeline, Claudia's lover. I was so annoyed whenever I was watching that play out on screen with her trying to fake the accent and do all of that, and it was just too much for me. It was great television. I'm not mad at that, but just like being immersed in the show, I was pissed off. I was like, "You are no Madeline of Pavia. Please stop. Stop right now. I am upset."
Correct.
All right. So at first, Awakened Soul Vibe says, "I'm glad Louis didn't like long face. It won't be on the album. Everything can't be that."
Isn't Long Face the title song for this entire season? Is it Long Face? Well, I don't know. Tootie Naboot also says Lestat doesn't understand what he's driving towards. To be honest, he thinks the Great Conversion is effing stupid, but he's also making a song in support of it because it sounded cool. That man is lost it as fuck. Was it not? This is a question. Was it not Gabriella who was kind of insisting that he take this turn? And so who's fucking who's crazy? Is it Lestat or is it Gabriella?
They both crazy. They, they
Both.
they're both crazy.
All right. So moving on to one of Corey's favorite people, Armand, and his subway party trick. So the episode ends with a chilling display of Armand's powers using the hypnotically incepted command rest to force poor Larry to step in front of a train. After his apparent vulnerability in Dubai, how does this remind us to not take the gremlin for granted? See that pretty mother? He pretty. Oh, he pretty.
He's pretty evil. Is what he is. Actually, he's just like our favorite characters, right? He has trauma that and feelings of inadequacy and all those things, and because he's immortal, he can't process, so he uses his long life to enact the same trauma, etc., on the people around him. We can't get the way that he wants. I don't quite understand the why though. So for me, I was like, well, what's the point? What does that do? Does it just hurt Lestat? Or in his mind, does he think it hurts Lestat? Or what's the whole point of it when you've already used his brother as a, kind of as a pawn, but ultimately you kill the other his sibling? I just don't understand. And I guess that's one of the questions that I have going into the next episode. But because he's able to do that, because he has that level of ruthlessness about him, no one should ever take Armand for granted because he's so selfish. Like he is so selfish. Um, but is a character that you love to hate.
So Armand's origin story, right? So it goes back to Marius. Um, he was in love with Marius. Marius was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna turn you, and then I'm going to let you, go off into the sunset and figure all this other shit out all by yourself and all that other good stuff." So at the end of the day, Armand wants love. He wants to be in love with someone. He knows he can't be in love with or at least he feels he can't be in love with his fledgling because eventually his fledgling is going to leave him, which is part of the reason why Armand, up until that point, had not turned anyone. Also, it sickened him. The thought of turning someone sickened him, right? And so, but the first person that he thought he could be in love with was Lestat. Lestat turned him away. And so Armand is in his own way, he getting back. He got back with Louis, and he's getting back with old boy by killing him. And also, Armand is smart enough to know that this is going to wound Lestat in a different way because Lestat said it himself. I believe it was Lestat who said, or maybe I don't remember, but basically that the drummer represents a part of himself. Okay, and so you kill that part of yourself. Armand kills that part of himself. That will impact Lestat in a way that perhaps it didn't impact him with Louis.
Yeah, so the guitarist Larry represented his fragility, if I'm remembering correctly. Louis is trying to suppress his trauma by replicating real moments he had with Claudia, while Lestat is embracing his by writing a song about Claudia. They need to meet each other in the middle.
If they could have a good conversation, a decent, meaningful conversation, maybe they would be able to solve some of those problems.
Simu Wig is crazy. The actress Gabriella says she was upset when she didn't get to wear the men's clothes because she had to wear that corset. Something is building. I remember I kind of mentioned this earlier on, maybe in like one of the first couple of episodes about how the original actress or character Gabrielle wanted to have more of a masculine or androgynous kind of look, and that's not really what happened here. Thank you for that. Says right, Armand is terrible, but that face card is I walked in front of the train too.
Just sitting, face just sitting.
All right, man, Armand ain't shit for what he did to Larry. He better stand 10 toes down on the decision because he just declared war on Lestat directly. It's probably how he's missing that eye. Oh, it was it was a mother. I'm gonna laugh so hard if that's the case. MGL, not gonna lie. All right, okay, welcome back. Armand was on his Umar Johnson in that subway. Some of them are just going to sleep for good.
I like the way you brought in current events. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Armand is a pick me. 100%.
The worst kind.
Centuries long. Lestat remains Armand's greatest addiction. He's everybody's addiction. Newsflash, we all love Lestat. Armand removed Lestat's frailty, so he better be ready to catch those hands. All
right, so we can go back.
And again, thank you guys in the comments. We appreciate this. This is like, I have nothing else to do with myself. I really do. There's many things I should be doing, but this is fun. All right. So the Daniel and Armand bond. My goodness, if I were Daniel, I would probably sit in his face. So Daniel confronts Armand in the park regarding his 52-year-long stalker-esque obsession. Armand counters by offering to make Daniel his fledgling so they can walk in the sun together. Do you believe Armand's pitch is rooted in love, or is it a calculated counter move against Lestat?
I think it's both. I think that it is ultimately Armand thinking, hey, maybe I can finally find love. Oh, but by the way, if I could fuck over Lestat in any kind of way, let me do that too. You know, I mean, ultimately, I really think that that's what it is. And to me, it's not so much that he was so in love with Lestat and all the things. I think it's the rejection by Lestat is which is the root cause of all of this. And ultimately, Louis and Lestat's connection that even his attempts at affection and love couldn't, compete with, basically.
You know what? I don't know. Does Armand love Louis? Or did he love Lestat? Look, it was the way that you set it up, Elia. The way that you set it up kind of made it sound like he was talking about Daniel. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So right now, I don't know if Armand loved Daniel. I do know that in the books, he kind of kept Daniel on a string for a very long time. But I don't know if what I saw was love or a vampire just pulling strings. And so to that part, I don't know. Now Daniel is like, as far as the status concerned, up by that point, wasn't even someone that he knew. Did he think that perhaps Louis and Lestat would get back together? If so, that's playing the long game. And if he was playing the long game, Armand is a motherfucker.
Listen.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, 100%. Armand is a beautiful, backhanded bastard. He is. And so this is not somebody you want to trifle with at all. Because, again, face card never declines, and you kind of forget, that he's there, but he's very, very calculated. He is dangerous. He is dangerous. And I love that they took this beautiful man and made him he just seems so soft and just non-threatening and all of these things. And he is fucking shit up. He really is. And so, yeah, I think it's very calculated more than love as it pertains to Daniel. All right, Tootie in the Boot says, I think two things can be true at once. I agree with that. Like Corey said, obviously Armand loves Daniel in his effed up way, but he's most definitely trying to get whatever get back he thinks should be had. 100%. Hell hath no fury. He shouted out Sophia because he wanted her ass to leave Lestat again so he'll stop making music again. Gabriella didn't want to be considered as a mother, so Armand is counting on Daniel to drive her away. Love the insight. Armand could have anyone, but he is too strict for Lestat. Lestat can't be tamed, baby. I want Daniel's confidence. Danny said, if you love me, prove it. Put it on paper. Yes, please do. Go ahead.
So, Books, Girls, and Purrs, are you saying basically because he was able to prove it? Are you saying that Armand really does love Daniel, or was he just keeping an eye on him for nefarious reasons?
Asking for a friend. All right. And so while we are waiting on other comments, a couple more questions. So, Armand teases Daniel with a massive secret about Lestat's traveling companion, quote unquote, Sophia, who's really Lestat's mom. How will Daniel use this explosive information in his ongoing documentation of Lestat's life? How's he gonna use it?
Boy, when Daniel, Daniel does that that two step. He'll ask one question, get Lestat to be thinking about one thing, and then boom, he'll come with that question, and Lestat will be enraged. Either he'll be enraged or he'll be like, yeah, I fuck up.
I think he's gonna be, yeah, you know, and go into some sort of explanation about how it doesn't matter because they're immortal or something like that.
Or he gonna pull another parlor trick on you and tell you all of the truth, and it ain't gonna matter because nobody else gonna hear it.
All right. So Tootie also says the timing is just off. He waited 2 years to come around Daniel. And the moment that his fledgling teams up with the Brat Prince, Armand comes running. Suspicious is Armand's middle name.
Thanks.
I think it's both. Excuse me. This is from Books, Girls, and Purrs. I think it's both. Armand is always playing with several plots in his pocket. Yes. Marius called him out on that at one point in the book Armand. Time Deverix, I believe, if I'm certain I'm mispronouncing it. The funny thing is, Armand is the only one out here trying to stop the Great Conversion. Trying to stop the Great Conversion? I don't know. With that music, I don't know about that. What are your thoughts, Corey?
You know, I do think that he is trying to stop the Great Conversion because he said so as such in the last episode. I forget who he was talking to, but he was saying that it was a danger. Like I think he was talking to Daniel, or something. He was saying that it's dangerous and that a Lestat needs to be careful or something along those lines. But I think that's based on his view of the old laws, quote unquote. Like we talked about this, I think last week. Armand he really believed in those laws, right? In the Paris coven, they really believed in those laws. So for him, I really think he believes that there's a great danger in what Lestat is doing, et cetera, et cetera. Lestat, I don't think gives a crap about it. I think he thinks, yeah, whatever, But ultimately, you think about it logically, it does make sense.
So I read Armand, but my brain said Lestat, and so I apologize. I apologize for that. So Tootie in the Boot says Daniel is going to pick at Lestat for sure. I'd be surprised if he didn't. It is his big moment to try to get his lick back against Lestat for that stunt he pulled in episode 3. What are your thoughts about that, Elia?
That 100% tracks. So Daniel Malloy, the human, was already a force to be reckoned with. Let's just be honest. He's amazing at what he does. So now he's immortal. And so what Lestat pulled with him, with making him feel like he uncovered these deep dark secrets. We got everything on film. I have all of this freedom as a journalist, and I'm getting the story, and then to find out nothing was there, and you really played in my face like that. I think this is going to invigorate Daniel Malloy in a whole nother way. It's Daniel 5.0. It's Danny, bitch. Please don't play with me. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. So 100%. I feel like this is my mother. This is my lover. All of these things. Yeah, this is ammunition for Daniel Malloy, the vampire. So I'm excited to see where it'll go.
Time Deverex says, I think he was talking to Daniel. Yeah. I love that yeah part. I laughed when I read it. So Tootie Naboo says Armand is trying to stop the Great Conversion because he's reverting back to his coven cult leader self now that he doesn't really have anything else to devote himself to. God dang.
Everybody broke up with you. Everybody broke up with you. Everybody. Your flesh and nephew. Everybody.
Tootie also says, I think that's also one of the reasons that he's trying to be Daniel's maker now of all times. What are your thoughts about that, Corey?
So I do think that that's probably why he's trying to ultimately, I think that he's trying to quote unquote hip him to game, so to speak, right? Like, hey, look, you don't know, as your maker, I failed to kind of give you the lore of vampire history and everything that's going on, but I know you're sort of semi obsessed with Lestat, etc., like everyone else is, but hey, just FYI, there's some other stuff that's going down. I ultimately think that is what he's trying to do, but he's also trying to stick it to Lestat too, right? Um, that's just the nature of this character as they've written him in the show. Um, and it's hard to trust him, or it's hard to root for him rather, even if he is correct in his thinking, because he's such a motherfucker, you know.
So, yeah, Boots Girls and Pert says, agreed. Armand is trying to dismantle the band. I don't think Armand should be annoyed for being outed on stage by Lestat with how he had Claudia taken out. That tit for tat shit. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
First of all, Armand, it brings me back to one of my favorite Baton Rouge philosophers, Webby. You bitch, you bitch, you bitch, you bitch. So, Armand, you have some nerve to be upset. You took credit for getting Louis banished as opposed to killed. It was actually Lestat who saved him while you sat there. So you have some nerve. You've been doing boy shit for centuries now. I get it. You're lonely. You're abandoned. All of these things. Okay, so are the rest of us. Figure your stuff out. Make an album. Make a bitch. Fuck a bitch. Whatever you want to do. But all of this, you got to chill out, Armand. You blaming everything on everybody else, and you have zero accountability. Now, again, it just makes for great reading, great television, all the things. But you got some nerve to be upset.
Tootie Naboo says Armand's last name. Bitch. Armand, bitch. Armand, bitch.
Bitch ass.
Armand, motherfucker.
Bitch ass.
Books, Girls, and Purrs. Says Armand's probably been listening to the Vampire Party line and knows what a big problem the Great Conversion is.
I agree. He has been. And so does, and I think Gabrielle does too. I think she does too. But she wants the chaos. She's opposite him in that she wants the chaos for whatever reason. I don't know what her motives are for wanting chaos, but she does.
So Onyx Crown says, I'm worried what else Armand might have in store for Alex. You know what? I'm concerned about that too, because you don't start there and not end it. Killing his brother, that cannot be the end. So, Elia, your thoughts?
No, I'm agreeing. I'm just saying it won't be the end. But again, that's Armand. It's not going to end there. He's very calculated. This wasn't just, I woke up and I felt like I'm going to choose violence today. No, you've been thinking these things through.
It kind of looked like too in the end of the episode that they that the band members are turned. So how do we think that's going to play out with once they find out that Larry's dead. Like, I mean, Larry's dead, well, I don't know. I'm just so curious to see what's next in this whole, because this is a deviation from the story that we know, and maybe it's just kind of added story for our benefit. But I mean, I'm just so curious. Like, I don't what happens? Like, are they just going to be made to be killed by the end of the season, or what? Or what?
That's a fair question. That is a fair question. I'm hoping that if they do go in the direction of actually making them, that they can use them. Um, because I think the show's done well. But I'm absolutely not certain. I'm not sure where this is going because to me, the whole point with Lestat keeping them human was for a reason. They still had that vulnerability, and he even told them, like, hey, this is not what you want. Let me invite you into what this looks like. And then them offering themselves up, in spite of knowing all that information, just spoke to their loyalty. And again, just whatever, to the music, to the band, to the cause. So I'm wondering, did they turn them or did they keep them human? I don't know. I absolutely don't know. So I'm curious to see where it's going to go over these next two episodes.
I would much prefer that Sam and or Gabriella turn the band members if they are going to be turned. I wouldn't want Lestat to turn them. Lestat he's turned quite a few people already, and I think if we want to remain as consistent as possible with the books, it should not be Lestat to turn them. Those are just my thoughts.
I agree, and the way that they showed Gabrielle kind of baring her teeth, I think she probably is the one that turns him. But isn't that also inconsistent with the books too, though? Oh, well, either way they do it, it's kind of going to have some inconsistencies. But I agree with you. The bigger inconsistency would be if Lestat turned him, not necessarily if Gabrielle did it, or even oh boy from the Paris Coven. Like it that's not too much of a deviation because of who those characters are.
So Tootie in the Boot says Armand trying to blame the Great Conversion on Lestat pissed me clean the fuck off because we first heard of that in the second season and Armand wasn't doing shit then. Oh yeah?
So again, this is Armand being his calculated Weasley self. So that tracks. I agree with you, Sudie in the Boot. I'm pissed off as well because it's just like, Armand, get somewhere, find you a companion and sit down. Just stop.
So L Star's app says that's what I don't get about turning the band. They will be newborns. So they still won't understand the loneliness the vampires feel still. Tootie in the Boot also says, I don't think Lestat will turn TC. He did call her drums his heart. What are your thoughts about that, Corey?
I he does call her that, but I don't know. Like that, like again, it's such a deviation from the source material that I'm just kind of like, I wonder. Um, and that's okay, right? It's okay. They can do that because this is an adaptation, right? So I think it would make the most sense if somebody else did it, like you said. But ultimately, with the way that he kind of singled her out, I could totally see she being the one. But why not? Why wouldn't one vampire just you know turn them all? Or maybe each one takes one because there were three vampires in the room, right? I could see that happening as well.
So Tootie in the Boot says the band wanted to elevate their musicianship by turning into vampires. They are dedicated to nothing else, and that's why Lestat has stuck with them for so long. Elia is shaking her head. So I'm gonna go next to Time Deverex. I took it as they turned the band so they could hear and play the sounds they needed to reach more vampires with the music. Onyx Crown says, and remember the Magnus hallucination mentioned a drummer at Lestat's long table. Hmm. Corey?
So it did, and I think again, I think that I would love. So one of the things that one of the only issues that I have with the show is that there's so few vampires outside of the circle of people, right? And and I just think back to some other iterations of this media where there have been other vampires around, even in the Queen of the Damn movie, although they introduced all those characters way too soon. There was more vampires that were around, and I just think that we see too few of them. And I'll, hey, more madness, and it's great. So I want it to happen. I'm just curious how it's going to happen. Um, and is it going to be too much of a deviation from the story to piss fans off? Doesn't matter at this point. I don't know.
You left us with an excellent question, Corey. I don't know. Will it piss fans off if Lestat turns more people, or if any of them are turned? Um, Sound off on that. Oh yeah.
Um, make more, make more, make more. Um, so as far as the drummer being mentioned at Lestat's long table, I don't think anything is haphazardly just thrown into the script as it pertains to this show. This is not Mayfair. This is the Vampire Lestat. This is the Vampire
Every
Chronicles.
episode,
Um,
Mayfair gets some
so
kind of smoke.
so so everything as it pertains to this show or this chronicle, this part of the universe is strategic. It's planned. It's well thought out. It's well written. It's calculated, like Armand. And so, mentioning being at the long table as a drummer, I don't think it was just thrown in there. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Right, he does too. And so that, I mean, this could that's what, like I said, that was one of my criticisms of the show, that there's not enough vamps around. Like, I just think that there should be more. And so maybe this is, you know,
They could be setting it up to maybe leave room to have the show go on for more than 3 or 4 seasons. I don't know. It's already, in my opinion, outrunning Mayfair, as I've so modestly stated several times. Um, any other comments, Jermaine? All right. So, last question is around one of my our absolute favorite parts of the entire show, the music. Stained glass eyes. Absolutely beautiful, beautifully composed song. All right, so the original composer rewrote the song from scratch 3 times before reaching the final devastating version. How do you think these sonic revisions mirror Lestat's emotional turmoil as he processed Claudia's death?
so kind of back where we said earlier, like the music is a catalyst for the story in the show this season. And so from the very beginning, major plot points in each episode were kind of driven. I mean, it's a familiar formula, right? There's a song they're doing a new show, and hey, here's the song they're working on, the song they're previewing in front of an audience that has some direct tie to the story, right? Each one has a different beat. Like the great 80s and early 90s one that they did that kind of detailed his conversion, right? That was a fantastic song. So each one of these songs really kind of is, again, the catalyst and the heart, kind of the heart of the show, if you will. And so when we get to this point, this crescendo, so to speak, right? This pivotal moment in Lestat's life where he finally begins to, or he finally kind of deals with or expresses, I'll say expresses how he truly feels after Claudia's death, and as a result of Claudia's death and everything that went down. I think it's one of the best moments in the show. One of the best moments in the show. Um, and that's really all I got to say about that.
Yeah, actually, I agree with Corey, and I don't think it could be said better. So yeah, I agree with him. But the first Awakened Soul vibes says Baby Jinx is still around, but mourning. What are your
Nobody
thoughts
care about
about
Baby
that?
Jinx, funk ass.
Oh yeah, what are your thoughts?
I feel like they'll spin the block on it, but I don't feel like we'll probably see it until season 3.
Okay, all right. So Tootie says stained glass eyes had me crying so bad. He had to watch her die, and I don't think we've seen everything regarding the trial. Corey, what are your thoughts?
So, there are some things that are some pieces that are missing because I remember when we first watched it and we talked about it, I kind of felt like, there was more story that could be told because I felt like they kind of rushed that piece, right? So I am sure there's more plotting, there's more scheming, there's other things that went on behind the scenes that we will kind of find out about, right? I mean, we're gonna be in season 4 before we even see Daniel's turning. So, I totally agree with you. I think that there's definitely more that we can see regarding the trial, and that may kind of give us a little bit of closure to the season, perhaps. But I think the way that they've kind of ended with Claudia fading into the background, I think that may be the end point of this particular piece of that story. I think that we probably won't even see her again m- any more episodes. Maybe we see one more time with Louis, kind of as a final piece, but I think that's it.
So Tootie says we may get more info next episode since
Yeah,
Lestat is not only reconnecting with Louis, but because the preview showed them both going to a witch to talk
right.
to Ghost Claudia. Oh yeah, I see you.
100% agree, and I think this will be the tie into. I hate to say it, Mayfair, with the witch Merrick, and get a kind of teaser there. So yes, 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 and yes.
So I believe in the books, Louis has a thing for Merrick. I think Louis kind of develops a thing for Merrick, or is it Lestat? No, Lestat develops a thing for Rowan, and whatchamacallit develops a thing for Merrick. I'm sure we're not gonna see the Lestat piece, but we may see the Louis thing.
Was it Mona?
Maybe it was Mona, but I thought it was Merrick. I don't know.
I think he turned Mona. Lestat
He
turned Mona, right?
Lestat turned Mona, but
Okay.
we see that Merrick is a black witch, so I kind of was thinking maybe
She was
maybe
she was
it may
supposed to be
be a
mixed race, so
yeah.
which is still black according to U.S. rules.
So the lady that we saw is dark skinned.
Which
So I
which
don't.
is crazy, but
It's crazy.
So Underground says Lestat did his thing with stained glass eyes. He needed to confront his feelings regarding Claudia to have that needed musical breakthrough. I do agree with that. So Books, Girls, and Purrs says they are really edge. Books, Girls, and Purrs, I love you so much. They are
I
really
do too.
edging us with Daniel's turning.
You might need to be a guest on one of our episodes because
I've been
you gives
trying to
it
do it for the longest.
you gives it to us every time, every time.
And you know what? I just want y'all to hear what y'all just said. You do it to us every time. And what did Corey say?
You gives it to us every time.
I just want y'all to pay attention to what y'all say. Honest Crown says episode 6 has me nervous seeing who Lestat and Louis go to visit. Yeah. So Tootie says it would have been so cool if Merrick was played by Bailey Bass. When I read that book, the description of her was Bailey to a T. Books, Girls, and Purse says Louis had a thing for Merrick.
Right.
Tootie says, I'm sure the actress they casted will be excellent, though. Onyx Crown says, did y'all already talk about Lestat referring to himself as, I'm going to mispronounce it. I'm just going to say Amel
Amel,
in
Amel,
the
yeah.
beginning of the episode, by the way.
So we didn't talk about it, but you know, and also Akasha mentioned Amo in her monologue as well, right? And so I think that's an interesting concept because we mentioned this very briefly last week about how this show has the potential to do probably at least a couple more good seasons before we get to the weirdness that is Anne Rice, which is past the religious stuff, but kind of getting into Atlantis and all those things and aliens and alien spirits and all that stuff that kind of kind of turns the story on its head. And seeing that they introduced him at this point, or this version of him, I think is very interesting, and I'm curious to see how that's going to work out in the show. Like, I don't think it's going to be a one-off, but or how are they going to explain it? Um, so
So can you give us some insight on this
so
particular character?
if I get this correct, Amel is the embodiment or the vessel by which these demon slash spirit that gives all the vampires their powers comes from. And the ultimately, this quote unquote spirit is like an alien hybrid or something along those lines, and that's how, and it inhabits a, you know, a creature and things like that, and ultimately takes the form of Amel, way back when. I know some of you that have read every inch of the books from cover to cover may correct me a little bit here, but I think that's kind of the gist of how it goes, and that's what I was speaking to. You know, it kind of gets a little weird after. It's great, but it gets a little weird after a certain, certain books. So I'm very interested to see how they where they take this.
So Tootie says, and I'm skipping a part. I think he may possess. Speaking of Amel, whatever, possess Lestat way earlier, but I could be wrong. Tootie also says, Amel is the reason why Akasha became a vampire. He was indeed a spirit that the twins communicated with before they even met Akasha. That is very,
Right.
very true. They shoot him. They were like, we ain't got time for you. But of course, it followed them. And I guess he joined with the other spirits that entered Akasha's body.
Right.
Pamela says Armand was stalking Daniel for 2 years. Let that sink in.
Listen, you don't have to give us any more reasons to hate Armand or to think that he's a total creeper. So I mean, 52 years
He
behind some
had
booty,
time.
behind some booty you ain't never tasted or touched. That's too much. That's too much. Okay, that's too much. It's
But wait a
too
minute.
much.
So what did y'all think when Armand said, "Hey, you made Louis out to be based," and I'm paraphrasing. You made Louis out to be like a poster boy of goodness or whatever, virtue and all that other good stuff. But Louis is calculating. What are your thoughts about that? Do we agree? Do we see some shades of that, or do you think that Louis is just he'll get to his breaking point and then he'll go off? What do you think?
I think an empty wagon makes a lot of noise, and I think Armand ain't shit. And I think this is just yet another way that you take the spotlight off your raggedy ass and try to blame it on Louis. Now, let me be clear. I'm not painting Louis as an angel. It ain't that. The way that the show wrote him, he a pimp from New Orleans. Let's be clear.
Okay,
Okay.
that has a vicious side, and we'll cut a throat.
It
You
has shown
understand?
it several times. So, no, Armand. No, ma'am. No, sir.
Calculating. He used the word calculating. Do we think
Please.
he's calculating?
Yes.
Well, he does. Yeah, he is. He's calculating.
He's not.
He did
Armand
go,
was not wrong in what he's saying.
but I still outweigh
However,
Armand as a bitch.
it's outweighed by all the crazy shit that he did to Louis and everybody else, right? It's outweighed by all of that. So it don't matter. Yeah, he calculated, but do you recall all what you did? You know?
Because Louis did still find a way to be attached to Lestat, you and his royalties and shit, and all of it. And the minute that you going off the rails and you with this whole Regina character, now you want to call Lestat, he done been killed and all that. He's calculating. He is.
Well, hold on. Wait. Was it calculating or was it organic? Because remember, we saw that it was Lestat that called Louis. It wasn't Louis calling Lestat. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't Louis calling Lestat. It was Lestat who called Louis.
You know, they're both unreliable narrators too. So it probably was a little bit of both.
The
In this
odyssey
version
of
the story, I think
recollection.
it's a little bit of both.
The odyssey of recollection.
So Tootie says Armand is a booty bandit for real. Why he's over there calling Louis methodically cruel funny thing is, I do think that Louis can be cruel, but Armand is still projecting. Okay, so Awaken Soul Vibe says Louis took out Armand's eye.
I hope he did, and I hope we see it.
I
Books,
love
girls,
the
and
fact we see it. The one eye is crazy.
books,
Not
girls, and
even,
purse. Huh?
not even one lick. Ain't even tasted a lick of that old lollipop, and just follow him around for it.
Not the old lollipop.
Okay, so listen, this is my point of contention. Although I think the actor playing Daniel is fantastic, I think I would be more invested in their story if he matched Armand.
Well, we gotta. Okay, so let's go back to the '70s, right? So that what's the word I'm looking for? But that depiction of Daniel from the '70s, he was hot.
Yeah, right, right.
And 52 years, for a vampire, okay, yeah, that's gonna happen to your body. I ain't concerned about you. But when I first met you, because like when you get with someone, you think of what they looked like when you first met,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
Right. So I ain't too mad at that. So Tootie says Louis texted Lestat and told him that he needed him to come to the diner. And I guess that's in reference to whether or not but at that particular point in time, that is something that only the two of them had in common.
Correct.
And you know what I'm saying? The only other person that he could have contacted would have been Armand. And do you think Louis would contact Armand?
Mm-mm.
No, he gonna contact Lestat in my mind. So but Louis had the presence of mind to be like, I'm losing it, and who can I turn to? It's Lestat. I don't think it was manipulation. I don't think it was calculation or him even being cruel. It was like, I'm being vulnerable and I'm telling you my weakness in this moment, and I need your help. That's how I read it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I agree.
Tootie also said, I agree with Corey's assessment on Eric. I love him, but him with Armand romantically, not my cup of tea, respectfully. Tootie also says Louis could have contacted his current boyfriend. It always circles back to Lestat at the end of the day.
Lamille is not gonna
Tootie,
understand. He's not gonna
listen,
understand. He's
He's
not
not gonna
gonna.
understand, and he doesn't know what Claudia looks like.
he does it. He don't have no reference, no point of reference. And remember, too, Lestat and Louis are in game. I think we all forget that they are in game. They really are. They're in game.
That's it for the comments.
All right. So any other thoughts before we give our final rating of episode 5 of the Vampire Lestat, New York? All right. Jermaine.
So I'll go. I thought this was one of the better episodes of this particular season. There have been some episodes that I really, really liked, but this episode right here, I was arguing with somebody on Jack. I was like, they gave us Akasha. Did you hear that speech? They also gave us Armand killing boy. I can't think of the guitarist's name. But this particular episode was layered in so many different ways. They also gave us Claudia, and let me not say they gave us Claudia. They gave us Lestat meeting what could have been Claudia Regina. So that was 3 pieces in one episode. And also, let's not forget the reveal where Armand basically tells Daniel that that Gabriella or Sophia is Lestat's mom. I mean, this particular episode was heavy. So I'll give it a 10. This episode was a
10. From Mayfair to 10, Corey, what you rolling with?
I'm gonna give it a 9.8. I'm not gonna give it a 10 because I just don't want to do it. I'm gonna be that person. But so listen, it was a fantastic episode for all the reasons that we said. I think it is one. It has been one of the better episodes this season. In a season that is very layered and is presenting itself in multiple different ways and is leaking context and background information in a lot of different ways. It was more straightforward in this episode. And I think that a couple of the episodes could have been served by having a little bit more direction like this one had. But again, still love the season. But this episode was really good.
So from Mayfair to 10, this is a 10. This is a 10 for me. This is a 10 for me. One, I cannot stop playing Stained Glass Eyes. I cannot. So the music. So we're taking it out of the realm of the show into my personal life and getting in my business and getting all into my feelings. Okay, that's one. The acting. Oh my God. So believable. I hate
Okay, green eyes. Okay, green eyes. Not all of us can have green eyes.
Don't make me shuffle in the living room now. I can't wait to get off the computer. But so, so you know, the emotions that it evoked from me. The acting was superb. Oh my God, Akasha. Whoa, hold on. We got Lestat broken down, little boying, prodigal stunning, all the things. We got to see Marius in this episode. It was so many things that I needed. And so it's very rare that I ever give a 10. But for me, this episode was a 10. And I can go on and on for all the reasons why it is a 10. I am just really hoping they don't Mayfair me with the last 2 episodes of the season. But for me, this is a 10. This is a 10. It's a 10.
I don't think they're in danger of not being renewed, but I do think that if they do not give us 2 bang up episodes to end the show, that it could be more of a question. I don't think they're in danger, but you never know. Some favorite shows have been canceled for.
In the words of RuPaul from Drag Race, don't this up.
Has anyone heard whether or not they've been renewed for a 4th season? If you have, let us comment. So Tootie says Louis has a picture of Claudia. Good point. Good point. But I still think there's something to be said for having known someone yourself. Books of Girls in Paris says, I'll be the man. I'm ready for old man Daniel to show our mom who's the real boss. Awaken Soul Vibe says, Lestat. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me show it. Lestat was his baby daddy. That's why. So also, Tootie gives it a 10, a royal 10, not just a 10, but a royal 10. So Awaken Soul Vibe says TikTok is loving Akasha's affirmations and spoken word.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Corey.
I mean, let me pull it up. No.
Do it, Corey. Pull it up.
Whip it out. Put it on your forehead, friend.
I loved it, and I'm gonna watch it again just for those last 5 to 8 minutes. I loved all of it, but I'm gonna watch it again just for the last 5 to 8 minutes.
So, Elia, you do poetry. Can you give it to us, Elia? Can you pull up Corey's text? Can you give it to us?
I have not prepared.
That's okay. That's okay. No one is expecting perfection.
I'm a Virgo. All right. So as we close out this episode of
we have a few more comments. We have a few more comments.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get it.
Oh, you want to do the comments and then the?
You can finish all the comments and it'll give me time to pull up the message.
Okay. All right. So Honest Brown says Sheila Atem blew it out the water. Love that she was cast to play her. She did an excellent job. Awaken Soul Vibe says Marius is crazy as fuck. Onyx Crown says apparently the show's been outperforming AMC's expectations. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? This is what I'm saying. Let me go back here. So everyone that I've been talking to, they have their problems with the season, but they're still watching. Okay. Awaken Soul Vibe says the queen has arrived. I don't know if they're talking about the actress or Akasha, or are they talking about Elia? Who they talking about? The queen has arrived. Nefertiti.
Akasha. Akasha.
Tootie says, love doing this every week with you all. Thank you. It's so much fun. Books, Girls, and Purrs says, Elia is a true queen reading. That's your entree, Elia. Come on.
Give it to us.
What you got?
Oh, child. First of all, shout out to Corey because he sent this to us. But real quick, we're going to get through this monologue. All right. From the Queen Akasha herself, Queen of the Damned. And why does he tell her what God has said? And why is the mel in their mouths? And why must my voice be smooth? And why must I sing so low? And why is she kept? Why is she kept? And why is this place she kept? And what does it mean if you're not asked? And what does it mean if you're not answered? And what is it to see, to know, to be told? And you have not seen, you have not known. And why is her tongue cut out? And why is her death prolonged? And why will it stop? And who will stop it? And why must they, must we, must I, must he, must they, as they millennia unfold? Why is the girl, why is her eyes lowered? Why on the side of the road? Why the lip in the straw? I am the girl, I am the God, I am the voice, I am the song, I am the night. Can I answer? And I can arrange it. I can say rise, I can say speak. And I am her, I am she, and I am the answer. From the
Applause. I should have had that. Hold up a minute. I had this isn't one of my tracks. Let me hold up. Wait a minute. Where yeah.
First of all, y'all, my fiance just opened the door. Like, what the hell is going on in there? It's like, is Bay okay? What is happening? So I messed up so badly on there. I didn't have time to prepare. But this was great. My God. Don't y'all ever do this to me again without preparation.
Thank you, Timmy. Books says it's about. I love Books, Girls, and Purrs. Oh my God, that needs to be on a rave remix.
I was thinking the same thing when I heard
it. This is somehow my favorite season, despite being such a wacky mess. Onyx says, "Fire, bitch, fire."
It was.
No, I think they're talking about you, Elia. You.
Oh, listen. It's look, Akasha. Again,
talking about you, friend.
Look, my friends love me, and y'all are sweet. Don't ever do this again. I'm heartless and I'm sensitive. I need time to prepare. You can't just throw me in the water like that. But yeah, thank y'all. Look, major shout out to Corey because my goodness, I think we were all thinking it, but when you dropped it in the group, it was yeah. We all felt it.
All right, Elia.
All right, 2 more episodes left, guys. Thank you so much for showing us love in the comments and engaging with us. So we will see you guys again at 7 sharp Central Standard Time on next Wednesday. 2 more episodes to go. Also, we will be coming at you tomorrow at 7 Central Standard Time for House of the Dragon. Let's see what next steps Rhaenyra has as she is sitting on the Iron Throne. And we're also coming back to you on Sunday after that little rest from Beyond the Gates. So see you guys soon.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social media.
We've got questions and we know you have answers, so make love to our senses in the comments. Drop them down below.